Are you aware that we are spending billions of dollars on war, that the state of Minnesota?
Yes.
And that we could, if we didn't spend it on war, we could be
I'll
spending.
live with my mom instead.
Oh, you live with your mother?
I would.
Oh, you would?
Yeah,
Yes.
she'll
right.
let me.
And the state pays for your housing,
Yeah.
and it might be cut.
Yes, and I hope not.
Well, yes, we hope not too.
No more cuts.
Right. Well, do you ever discuss the fact that Minnesotans are taxed for wars in which we kill people daily instead of saving people who need help?
Yeah, which is terrible.
That there are other services, there are other ways that the state is spending its money. Yeah. For example, the state of Minnesota, over 10 years, gave $30 billion to war.
If we want to spend it on wars, maybe we'd have money for our programs too.
Exactly, and so that's fine. So you can think of better ways to put the money than to put it on war.
Yeah, that's what I.
Well, thank you very much for being here.
This is my first time he come here.
Oh, really? Your first time to Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
State Capitol.
Well, I hope that you can do some good and convince the people here that you're deserving of help and that we need to spend money on services and not on war.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kerry.
And what do you think of the fact that we always have money for war and we're cutting back on everything else?
Well, I think it's a disgrace to our society. I think it says that we focus more on war and not taking care of people who are elderly and people who have disabilities who can't afford to even go to the doctor and people with mental health issues. We need to take care of those people. That should be our first priority.
Have you personally had services cut back because of the budget deficit?
I personally haven't, but I have many friends, and my boyfriend actually has had his cares cut, which affects my life as well, because we depend on the cares to get us up in the morning and come to this lovely capital and try to contribute to our community.
Have you personally experienced any problem with services you might be getting for the government?
Yes, I have. My services have been decreased by an hour and a half a day, which greatly impacts my life, as well as you spoke to my girlfriend earlier, it greatly impacts both of our lives because the level of quality of care that I get is not the same as it has been for nearly 15 years. When our own government doesn't care about the soldiers and doesn't respect them enough to when they come back home after serving and they have to fight for services just like people with disabilities, there's something really wrong there.
Can we keep that up for much longer, prioritizing war over our own needs?
Well, just so you know, in my pay grade, the topic is the wars and where the money gets sent is far below that. My concern is trying to find ways to serve the needs of the human service segment, the disabled, the seniors, and the safety net. And so I'm working to find ways to manage those programs to make them be affordable and sustainable for the long term.
Well, we see a connection when we're putting all this, making war a priority. There's simply less money here for social services.
I'm not going to disagree with all that. We have challenges, but the people need to weigh in. And these kinds of videos and things you're doing are probably helpful to remind them. It matters when the people show up on whatever topic, be it war, human services, education, roads, environment, clean air, clean water. They need to engage. And when they do, it's a better country. And that's why America is so good as it is.
One thing that we are concerned about is the fact that our budget is so skewed. In other words, here in Minnesota, Minnesotans have been taxed for wars, and our budget right now is $6 billion, as you well know, that we're in deficit. But we have spent that. We spend that every year. That's our share of the military budget that goes to killing people. And the elephant in the room is that seldom do people mention the military budget in connection with reduced services.
Well, I understand your concern. There are two different budgets. Unfortunately, I have nothing to do about the federal budget, but I am concerned about our state budget. You're correct. Our state budget is about $6 billion projected deficit.
The number one priority in this country is the military, and so just to prioritize the needs of the people at the bottom of the economic level, the economic ladder, is not good enough. We need people to speak out. Okay.
I think for those federal issues, you'll want to talk to Senator Klobuchar, Senator Franken. I'm not sure who your congressman is in my area. It's Congressman Walz.
All the time, and he's pretty good, but none of them are good enough when it comes to this issue. Thank you.
We spend $1.98 million per minute on war.
1.9.
1.98 million. I got that from the American Family Services. We gotta become aware where war is leading us, and we're not winning. I heard Michelle Bachmann at a rally she had at the convention center 2 years ago when we were outside, people were outside protesting. She said we have to stay there and eliminate Allah.
Yeah, well, the politicians say there's no connection between human services and our bloated military budget.
It's just we the people. That used to be our strong middle class. And not so much thinking about it. We got to stand up and speak out. We want our country back. We want our troops back. We want our priority is for we the people.